last year was such a dreadful year for insects and bumblebees, and when they tried to release them, it was on a nice sunny day, and then it was followed by 3 weeks of rain. And these bees, when they've been released, the first thing they need to do is go out and find flowers, collect nectar, and with the terrible weather, they probably wouldn't have been able to do that. So some of them may have survived, but we don't know. We haven't seen those ones since they were released.
And have you been tracking them?
You can't really track them. It's too small to track. But what we were doing is...
How do you know when you've seen one, then? You just spot a short-haired bumblebee and know that's one of the ones?
You recognise it by its short hairs, yes. No, it's... people are monitoring the kind of flowers in the habitat for them. So it's at Dungeness in Kent, on the shingle there. And what we've done is we've created acres and acres, sorry, that should be hectares and hectares, shouldn't it, of flower-rich meadows, so that they've got a constant source of nectar right the way from now through to about September. And that's the key. If you take out any one of those things, those elements, one of the flowers that they need in a certain month, then it can spell curtains for this poor bumblebee.
Honeybees come in colonies. Bumblebees, though, more solitary. So how is it that a queen bumblebee can set up on her own?
Well, no, they're exactly the same. They're still social bees. What they do is the queen bumblebee, she has colonies with workers and drones, but they're much smaller than honeybees. They're just sort of like little small families rather than great big colonies. But it's exactly the same.
So she still has the workers that support her?
She does, and what she does is, so she'll be fertilised, and she spends the winter as an adult bee, and then at this time of year she goes out and collects lots of nectar and pollen, and that gets her reproductive system going, and then she lays eggs that she fertilised last year, and then these will hatch out into workers that will help her to rear more and keep the colony going.
We've just seen them being released on their own, right?
That's right. So you release them on their own, and what they do is they go out and they collect nectar and pollen from the things that are flowering at the moment, and then produce a colony.
So she produces her own colony.
She does. Yeah.
She's got it on board.
Yeah. She even produces her own males later on as well. That she can mate with. It's
what a thought.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, you were talking about the fact that last year you released the bees, the bumblebees, but then the weather was dreadful. Is there not the possibility? I mean, our weather has been pretty dreadful.
There is, but that was well, we've had the coldest spring for many years. But in Sweden, where we've got the bees from, the bee was doing really badly there, as it is right the way across Europe. And Sweden spotted this, and what they did was they planted lots of flower-rich meadows, and the population just rocketed. So they know that they can do it in Sweden. So we've been preparing for the last 12 years all these sort of loads of flower-rich meadows for the bees here. So we know the habitat's right, and 5 other species of rare bees are thriving there. So this is the final piece of the jigsaw that we just want to put.
Because there are, what, about 25 native species of bumblebee?
There are, yes.
And about 7 of them
are pretty rare, yes.
So is this a sort of torch-bearing experiment?
It is. I mean, it's always, when you've let a native British species just slip through your fingers, to be able to put one back is just one of the most gratifying things in our profession.